Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios where sports meets that thing called life. It is my honor and my privilege to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. And of course, we feature the Marywood Pacers weekly all throughout the year on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. And you got a double dose this week as we are celebrating Rob Aarons and everything that's happened with track and field that you just saw. And now we're celebrating John Butash and the softball team. John has been on the show multiple times this season on an incredible run. And I am more than happy to have the head softball coach at Marywood University here with us. Mr. Butash, how are we doing?
Hey, Dan, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. And first and foremost, congratulations on just, we talked at the beginning of the season, and then, we spoke as you were in the mix of the postseason and in the Atlantic East. And now we're talking ECAC. This has been a wonderful run. And I just, honestly, it's left me speechless. I'm very proud of you. And I'm just really happy with everything you've done.
Thanks, Dan. It's really been a tremendous season. Our student athletes, after what they've been through the last couple of years, really rose up this season to have what it ended up being the most successful season in Marywood softball history in terms of wins, 28, and also our first ECAC championship. So it's been great. And this morning we just got news on a lot of all conference awards that came out just a little while ago, and we had a slew of student athletes making all conference. And what we always tell the young ladies is team success will lead to individual awards, not the opposite. And we certainly had a team approach this
year. And I love what you just said. Team success will lead to individual awards, not the other way around, right? Because I've seen teams that are individuals that are successful in multiple different sports, but their teams were not. That they were great and their team is winning 3 games a year and whatnot. So do you want to have that superstar and not be a cohesive team and be successful? No, I would like to see a team, play together. And like you said, once you play together and you build together, you grow together, you go through adversity together, and you find a way to make it a positive thing, then those awards do come. And that's such a wonderful way to put it, because when you're on a team that, has 28 wins and has that ECAC championship and all of that, there are going to be accolades that come individually, because the people that are voting are going to be looking at the teams that have been most successful. So I think it's very true that if you take care of each other, then eventually, things take care of themselves.
That's a very good point, Dan, for sure. Again, we had a team of 17 this year, and we had injuries, we had COVID, and everyone on the team contributed to our success. We talked about that again yesterday when we finished up, that there was not one person on the team that did not have something to do with us setting the new record for wins in the Marywood softball season. And I'll just mention one in particular. We have a freshman, Jessica Plunkett, who we recruited from the Philadelphia area and ended up tearing her ACL last summer. So she came in and wasn't able to do our fall, and really in the spring was not just working back into shape. And there was one doubleheader where we were short pitching wise. So she got one start during the season and won the game.
Yeah.
And we broke the record by 1. So although we had the pitcher of the year in Marham, we had another all-conference selection in Gianna Marcico, who combined for 27 of our wins. Without Jessica's 1 win, we don't break the record. So really, that's just an example of how everyone contributed to this successful season.
Yeah, and that's such an amazing story to show the run, to show this team, like you said, without that 1, and you got your 2 pitchers accounting for the other 27 together. Without that 1, you don't break the record. Having a 28-9 season and setting a new record for softball wins at Marywood University means blank to you. Fill in that blank for me.
It basically means everything to me. It's been a like I said before, the last 3 years have been difficult for the student athletes. and to be able to share this with them, and the smiles on their faces yesterday as we posed for pictures with the banner, and to do this together just means everything, because they're leaving. We have 7 student athletes that won't be with us next year. They're either graduating or in majors that won't allow them to play anymore. They're leaving the softball field as winners on the softball field. And although it's in life, softball is just a small part of that, of their life, obviously, but a great experience for them at Marywood includes what we've done on the softball field.
Yeah, and to see that, to know that you're going to have a bunch of these players moving forward and finishing up their time on the softball field. How bittersweet is that for you to have made history with them, but to have to move forward without them on the field?
Well, again, it'll be hard to replace such a wonderful group of young ladies that have had, a tremendous career in the classroom and also on the softball field. But again, we'll rebuild. We'll not really rebuild. We'll reload, as they say, as we bring in 10 freshmen next year. And again, recruiting is going very well. We've had success on the field, which leads to more interest at times. The school sells itself with its tremendous campus and its variety of majors. So it's all coming together and has come together the last couple of years. So we're just looking forward to the new chapter. We don't want to, it is bittersweet. We're closing this chapter of what's been a heck of a run.
Yeah, and we look at the Atlantic East championship, and obviously, your fight to push to win that. When that did not come to fruition, did you think it was over? Did you think there was no ECAC opportunity when you're fighting in that championship for the Atlantic East, and it didn't end up falling your way at the end of it all? Did you think to yourself the season's over, or did you believe that there was going to be another opportunity?
Well, we were hopeful because we had, with our very good record, we felt as though we would get a bid to the ECAC. But again, you never know exactly what's going to happen. And yes, we found out, I believe it was Monday, that we would be moving on to the ECAC. There were a lot of tears shed on Sunday. We were, our goal had been to win the Atlantic East. And we ran into a very good team in Cabrini, very strong, and it just wasn't our day. And there were, like I said, there were a lot of tears shed. But when we got the word that we would be able to move on and play for an ECAC championship, we got back to work on Tuesday. We practiced Tuesday and Wednesday. We still have the enthusiasm. Like I said, there's 7 of them that are basically their softball careers are over, because there really is nowhere for them to go from here. They just hope they do something. But they came back and they were just thrilled to be able to play again on our field, which is one of the nicest fields. The weather was perfect. After some of the weather issues we had, we lost 10 games to weather this year. So we would have obliterated the wins record. It's a fact. We broke the record, but we really would have won a bunch more games. This was the team we had. But yeah, just to be able to play one more day, beautiful weather. We were at the field all day yesterday. We had a nice crowd, even though it's a Thursday during the day. A lot of parents who were going to see their children play for the last time at Marywood. So it was a great atmosphere, and it worked out. It couldn't have worked out any better.
That coming here from John Butash, the head coach of the Marywood Pacers softball team in this edition of Pacer Pride, found exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. John, like you said, having those families show up, seeing their kids play for, the last time, how emotional was that? Could you get a sense for that? Could you get a feel for that? Just what it was like to experience the fact that, you're playing you're playing during the day and in the middle of the week, and here are these families that have called off work, that have traveled and come over to see them. Was it tangible for you that there was in the air that reality that this was the final call for a bunch of your softball players.
Yeah, I think I went into the day wondering what kind of crowd we have. Again, we're talking Thursday. We're talking 11 a.m. first game. And it shouldn't have surprised me because we do have a loyal fan base, of loyal parents to their children. So we had a very nice crowd. Like I said, there were tears shed Sunday. Some of that, a lot of that, on disappointment of not winning the Atlantic East. But the tears after the game yesterday were more some sadness, but a lot of happy tears. That we had accomplished the goal. Marywood softball had never won an ECAC softball game, let alone a championship. And so we were 0-4 in ECAC play coming into yesterday. And playing an opponent from New York City, Baruch College, which we had never really heard of, but they had a wonderful season. I think they were 21-16. They're right in the city. So they were going to come and play. Just being there, but they at New York City, they don't have a field on they're on 22nd and Lexington. So they're basically coach when they travel 20 minutes to go play on a public park when they play. They got to our field, they're taking pictures, they're just soaking it all in. And they had some talented players. They really did. And they're a young team. And their coach is wonderful. And we're probably going to try to put them on our schedule next year. She's building a program there. And I believe they had 11 freshmen on their team. And they battled. We were 1-1 or so in the first 3 innings of both games before our offense really clicked. We were missing 4 of our top 5 hitters in game 2 yesterday. 3 of our first top 5 in the first game through injury and COVID issues. So again, the whole idea of team concept, and that, as I told our young ladies all year, we could have put any 9 of our 17 on the field at any time, and we were confident that we would perform well. So some girls got an opportunity over the last week that they really didn't have as much of during the season, and they just did a great job. And again, team all the way. They just a team that, again, it's hard to replace that team concept. We're going to have 10 girls back next year, but blending them now with the new 10 will be a challenge. But a lot of talent coming back, a lot of talent coming in. But this particular team will go down in history, not only for 28 wins, but for all the accomplishments. And off the field also, with the academic success. So again, we always have to look forward to where they are they going to be 5 years from now? Where are they going to be working? Where are they going to be living? And again, building that alumni base also to bring them back. And I know they will be still part of the Marywood softball program.
And when you talk about the scholastic side of it academically, just what you can say about, how your team has performed in the classroom.
Again, very, very proud. I'll start right at the top with Marywood. Marywood won the Elite 20 Award from the Atlantic East. The award goes to the student athletes in the championship series, if you will, with the ISPTA between both teams. And Mara is a 4.0. But the pitcher of the year in the conference, he's a 4.0 in the classroom, like the model student athlete, if you will, in having the academic and the athletic accomplishments. But many of our student athletes working so hard. And in softball, we're playing sometimes 4 days a week. We're playing double headers. We may have 1-2 days off. We're on the bus going to Philadelphia. Half of them are studying. We're on the way back on the bus and studying. They know that the academic always comes first. When we recruit our student athletes, we talk about that. Softball is just a small part of their college experience. It's not the main priority. Academic first. Softball, the nice stress reliever, get off the ball field, forget about your test, forget about your research paper, spend a couple hours clearing your head, clearing your mind, and then back to work back into the dorm, into the library, wherever you go, wherever you study. Yeah, we got a lot of success in the classroom, a lot of honor students, meaningful students. Looking forward to getting grades coming out this week, and I'm confident again that we're going to have ones that are going to be getting even Atlantic East honors for being at a certain GPA.
Yeah, and I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment. Just, and again, you know, you talk about individual accolades will come to you when you work as a team. And then you look at the fact that academic success helps to, you know, obviously take care of one can't wash the other. It doesn't go both ways. You can't be really good on the field, but you don't perform in the classroom. You have to perform well in the classroom and is there in order to stay on the field. And I think that knowing that these student athletes care so much. I mean, you have a love and a passion for Marywood. I second that. I love my education. It's why I went there. And to see the success of the sports, to see the evolution of athletics and what Marywood has done and what a pacer truly means. And really, you know, what Sister Mary Persico was saying this year in the hashtag what Pacers can do. You know, Pacers can win ECAC games. Pacers can win ECAC championships. Pacers can set new records and have individual success as well. And so, you know, I am so honored, John, that you've navigated so much adversity, injuries, COVID. I know that, you know, you've had people pass away that are connected, you know, obviously to your staff. I know with your mom and whatnot, and my condolences again with all of that. So, you know, I mean, you've been through a lot, going through that adversity, going through loss, going through COVID, going through injuries. How have you kept it together? And how have you found a way to personally stay strong and stay focused when so much has happened and that hit home for you too?
Well, number one, I'd say I was raised right by great parents. Uh, and again, I lost my mom about 6 weeks ago. She had a wonderful life. She was a big sports fan, baseball fan. Uh, and that's where it starts. And then the support around me. I have, you know, we were awarded this morning the coaching staff of the year by the Atlantic Heat, or by the other coaches. And again, it's coaching staff, not head coach. Brian Serafinko and John DiMatteo, my assistant coaches, mean everything to me. They bring so much to the table. I am a retired school teacher, so I have time to be able to coach. It's a part-time job, you know that. Brian and John have full-time jobs. So they're balancing full-time jobs with families of their own with the softball, and they bring that passion to the softball field. I'd be nothing without them. They do a lot of the work. They make my job so much easier. But I like, you know, tell the team that all the time. They're indispensable. They're great. And again, off the field, they're a great support for me because, you know, as we become very close as coaches, and then off the field, we've become very good friends. And like I said, they've helped me through all this. And again, helping our student athletes through all this. So it's not just me, so-called counseling students at times when they're down, but my assistants always step up and have built relationships as I have with our student athletes, which helps everyone navigate the interesting times that we're going through right now.
And can you share with us, for those that don't know, your mom's first name?
My mom was Elizabeth Butash. She went by Betty, but she was born in 1927. The greatest Yankee team of all time, and she was the biggest Yankee. And Joe DiMaggio was her favorite player growing up, and she instilled that Yankee fandom into us and our whole family. We're big Yankee fans. My dad was actually a Detroit Tiger fan, but he converted when he was my mom. But yeah, my mom was great. And whenever I go over to see her over the last year or so, because, you know, her health was declining a little bit, it was always, are you nice to the girls? Are you nice to the girls? Talking about the game. Can they catch the ball? Can they hit the ball? And of course, yes, they can do all that. So she always wanted to hear how we were doing. And yeah, just another a great support of me as personally. And just great. And again, almost would have been 95 in a couple of weeks. So it wasn't a tragedy that she passed. It was a wonderful, wonderful life, well lived, and yeah, so that's where we are.
Well, shout out to Betty in heaven. I am sure that she's met my grandma's, I call them G Mama on my mom's side, Gammy on my dad's, and my G Mama a giant sports fan. So I am sure that they got some popcorn up there watching some games right now. And, how do you have her memory live on with you? And what do you feel what is her legacy?
Well, number one, her faith was very big. All she wanted to do was get the morning nap, even to the end, even to maybe the last month of her life. If she got morning naps, that 30 minutes, that's all she needed. She'd be happy to go back home, sit on the couch, lay on the couch, watch a little TV maybe. But that 30 minutes faith with it at the church was her day was complete just with that early morning 30-minute nap. So we did all we could right to the end to get her to morning nap. So that was number one. That was her I don't know, inspiration, or her kept her going, if you will. That she just was a different person. Now, when she was not feeling well and couldn't go, you can get just a difference that she just didn't feel it. The whole day wasn't as
Yeah, and that is a beautiful thing to have that faith and have that connection. And my grandmother was the same way. She had to get to mass. We all had to go to mass. We went Sundays at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you had to be there. Not at 8:01, not at 8:02. She had a pew. It was her pew,
right.
and nobody better be sitting in that pew. So I can definitely appreciate and respect that. Well, Betty raised a great one, John. You have been, before I even knew you and we connected, you have been nice, you have been kind, you've been supportive. And I would be hard pressed to find, and I love the coaches that I get to talk to, and I say this with respect. I would be hard pressed to find another coach that I speak to around the country that was more deserving of a season like this than you.
Well, Dan, I truly appreciate that. It's like a dream for me to be coaching Marywood softball. I'm a retired school teacher. I have 4 daughters, so I coached softball for many, many, many years. But 10 years ago, 12, 15 years ago, I think I could have the opportunity to coach Marywood softball. Really not. Really not. But again, we talked about this before. My daughter played. I became very involved and was able to come on and assistant coach and then became head coach. So I'm loving it. I mean, it keeps me young. Young ladies keep me young. I'm out there, sometimes pitching batting practice or hitting, for defense, sometimes hitting the ball for them. And just being around young people with dreams, aspirations, goals. We talked earlier with you about goals we set, and it's a blessing to me to be able to do this. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
The ECAC, for those that don't know, when things wrapped up in the Atlantic East, there's that opportunity that the ECAC can be here because people know conference stuff, they know NCAA stuff. But describe to me, how that all kind of comes in and connects in the Eastern College Athletic Conference, the ECAC, how these opportunities come about and kind of where they stand in the grand mix of things. Because I know that some people, once conference time ends and there's that NCAA lore, there's that piece with the ECAC that I think needs to be described a little bit better because the ECAC has a historic connection to, especially up here in the Northeast.
Yes, I agree. I mean, growing up, I always heard about the ECAC. ECAC entails Division 1, 2, and 3. I thank Marywood because Marywood belongs to the ECAC. Many universities choose not to do that. They belong to their one conference, and that's it. But Marywood has always, since I know at least for the last 15 years, belonged to the ECAC, East Coast Athletic Conference, which I believe gives opportunities for student athletes not only to play ball or play a sport, but also I think there's some scholarship opportunities. But again, I think Pat Murphy is more into all of that. But we knew we belonged to the ECAC, and going back with Marywood softball, we had been in the ECAC from 4 other times. I believe I would say like maybe 11, 12, and 13, and then 17 or 18, and lost every time. Marywood women's soccer won the ECAC championship, I believe, in 2010. So this is the second time in the history of Marywood University that we've won an ECAC championship. The commissioner they're based in Connecticut. And the commissioner was down yesterday to watch our game and raved about our campus, raved about our field, raved about the whole atmosphere. And it was again, because Marywood belongs to the ECAC, we gave our staff that opportunity to play and to have an opportunity to win, to go out as winners. And we talked about it yesterday, and one of my assistant coaches brought it up. You get to the NCAA tournament, which again was the goal. You don't go out as a winner unless you win the NCAA tournament. We are leaving the field as winners.
Yeah.
Because we won that tournament. Again, I would think you compare it almost to the NIT in basketball. Might be a little bit of a comparison in a way, but the joy that we experienced yesterday, the smiles, the hugs, the families taking pictures with the banners, all that good. It was so worth it, and that was a day yesterday that I'll never forget.
Yeah, and you got a team that came up from New York City that's taking pictures of your field, your facilities, and I mean that says a lot about Marywood. Like you said, the ECAC commissioner coming and raving about it. It says a lot about where Marywood is right now, where Marywood is heading, and when you have a commissioner of a conference that is, you know, impressed by what you do, and you have a team from big old New York City coming into town, taking pictures and loving the way the facilities look, you know, that says a lot about Marywood University. It says a lot about, you know, Sister Mary Persico. It says a lot about Pat Murphy. It says a lot about, you know, the coaches and what you've all done to try and build an environment for the student athletes and campus in and of itself and the students and the alumni that is something you want to go back to, somewhere you want to go and watch a game. You know, simple things is just, you know, improving, getting all of those signs up there so you can see the Pacers, so you can see, you know, Marywood out in the outfield and whatnot. There's a lot to be said about that. And I think it's a great testament to Marywood University and just how beautiful it is, and how, you know, we're not trying to keep the secret anymore, so to speak, because, you know, people are coming here and appreciating it. So I think that's an incredible thing. And you made history winning an ECAC game, an ECAC championship, 28 overall wins. I mean, all of that on top of the fact that you have a commissioner and you have a team from New York City coming in saying, this is a great place, great facilities. You have to be on cloud nine right now, I would imagine. And is there, I mean, I know you want to win the Atlantic East and the NCAA. We talked about all that, but can you look back on this season and is there any regret, or is this just, hey, we did an incredible job and now I want to build on this?
No regrets at all, Dan. We had a tremendous season. The ball didn't bounce our way on Sunday. And no, to come up, no, there's no regrets. It was a tremendous season, a great season. I want to mention a couple names before we finish up here.
Yeah.
We had 7 student athletes make first or second team all conference. And we also had pitcher of the year and we had rookie of the year. But there, I hate to, I mentioned names and I forget some, but for example, I talked about our team. Yesterday, Brooke McKay was voted MVP of the ECAC championship. She's not an all-star. She's not an all-conference team. But she was the MVP yesterday. She had like 4 RBIs and 3 hits. Just another example of how we are a team. And then I had 2 of my main players that didn't make all conference are great players. Sam Baltasitis is the young lady that last year hit 7 home runs and had a couple of big grand slams, but didn't make all conference, which still bothers me. So this year, she had another great year. She had 4 home runs. She did 11 home runs in 2 seasons of softball. The whole team hit probably 9 home runs this year, but she didn't make it for some reason. And then Emily Rose, my starting shortstop as the season progressed, she played second and short. Lead out hitter, scored a bunch of runs. Yeah, we started our season in Florida. Our first game, we were down 2 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. And Emily came up with a 3-run double to win the game. That was our first game of the year. So right off the bat, we felt like it might be a special season, which it ended up being. But Emily's a great player. Again, I guess sometimes you just can't vote for everybody. You can't get your whole team on the all conference team. So I just want to mention a couple of those names because they are as important and as talented softball players as anybody else on the team. But I want to get that out there, give them a little shout out.
No, and it says a lot about you, and it says a lot about how much you care about them and what they've done. And this will mean something to them forever. This is a time capsule. This isn't just a conversation today. This is a time that, they can go back and whatever they're doing 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, go back and say, hey, you know what? Coach saw that. Coach appreciated that. I know playing, growing up and playing sports in my life, if a coach said anything, I never forgot playing a basketball game. And the coach that I had JV, I didn't play a lot. And I was thinking, like, does he not see what I'm doing? I'm trying and I could shoot. I hated to run. I didn't like to run, but I had the talent there, and I always come to practice, and I would, always, put myself out there and whatnot. And the next year when I was on varsity, I'm sitting here thinking, like, the coach didn't, that coach didn't like me. He didn't see any value in me. He came to the games because his son was on the team, and he supported us. And he would sit there, and every time I came out on the floor, right after he was my coach, and I thought he didn't see anything I did, every time I came out on the floor, he'd go, Danny, you get the ball, shoot it, shoot it. And one time I ran by him, and he grabbed my shorts, and he tugged on my shorts, and he goes, hey, why aren't you shooting? He goes, shoot that ball, shoot that ball. And I never thought he saw me. And when I realized that he saw something in me, and there was some positive that he took from me, I never forgot that. And John, that was let me think. That was 20 years ago. So, players don't forget what their coaches say, good, bad, and indifferent. And I think that, what you've done and the relationships you've built, I'm honored for that. I'm sure they are. And I want to extend, I know you've been on the show a bunch here, but I'd like to have some of your players, if you'd like to, I'd like to have some of your student athletes on the show to talk about their experiences, because I'd love to celebrate with them even further an incredible historic season for Marywood University softball.
That sounds like a great idea. I'd love to have some of the young ladies get to speak with you. We'll have to plan that. We'll figure it out, and we'll get them out of you.
Well, listen, congratulations to you and your entire coaching staff for Coaching Staff of the Year. And definitely so excited about what you're building, what you're doing, the 10 you got coming in, the 10 you have returning. It's great to talk going into a season of the hopes, and then come out of the season and see just incredible success. So John, take this, enjoy it, and definitely, I didn't know Betty, but I can be more than sure that being the fan she is and the lover that she is of you, I'm sure she's very, very proud that that you were being good to the girls, and the girls could hit, and the girls could go out there and do some good things. So congratulations to you and to your family and to the whole team and the extended Marywood family. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm happy that you allowed me to be a part of this history. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, Dan. It's a pleasure always speaking with you, and I'm sure we'll touch base soon.